Hello and welcome to Tomorrow is Yesterday, the show where we review every episode of Star Trek in production order. My name is Brandon Couch, and with me, as always, today is my co-host David Moss.
Oh, I didn't realize we were starting. Give me just a minute. Let me clean all this stuff up. Let me get
I
off of
I
Facebook.
did the intro twice. How did you not realize we were starting?
I wasn't paying attention. Let me get off Facebook here, off of YouTube. Um, Let me log into Net or Paramount Plus so I can start watching the episode that we're doing right now. That's shore leave, right? That's what we're doing.
No, we're doing the Squire of Gothos.
Oh crap.
We did shore leave last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, cause we missed a week. Sorry about that. Life just got too hectic on my
Mm.
end.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault this time.
It was not David's fault. David was ready. It
Seriously
was
ready.
my fault.
Like on our captain's bracket. I have 2 pages worth of notes on my captain's choice this week. Two pages. You have to check that out on our Patreon.
And that'll already be out because I don't think David realizes this, but the captain's bracket's going to come out before this episode does. So
I
it'll be the
don't
one that's
know.
already up on Patreon.
I don't know what happens whenever I get a notification to listen to something. I listen to something. I don't know what day that is or anything.
Well, the only reason it's going to work like that is because we missed last week. Otherwise, it would be after this episode comes out.
Oh, well, if you're listening to this, I took 2 pages worth of notes for my captain's bracket that we already discussed.
Okay, let's get to the spotlight. Are you still on the hellscape that is Twitter? If you are, go check it out Tomorrow Trek Pod. If not, that's okay. I only have Twitter to promote this podcast. Are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, can I add? I'm on
Okay.
memory alpha, and have you ever noticed in the corner that they play little clips of Star Trek?
I noticed that they usually have like autoplay videos that are annoying. I usually like turn them off.
Uh, I don't. I just like I'm over here watching T'Pol and Trip do something.
Hmm. Yeah, it's usually just like random YouTube videos. Like sometimes it'll just be like an honest trailer for something that's not even related. The Squire of Gothos first aired on January 12th, 1967, was written by Paul Schneider, who also wrote Balance of Terror, and directed by Don McDougall. And let's get into the cast. We have William Campbell as Trelane, DeForest Kelly as Dr. Leonard McCoy, who we last saw in Shore Leave, Richard Carlisle as Lieutenant Carl Yeager, Nichelle Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura, who we last saw in Shore Leave, George Takei as Lieutenant Sulu, who we last saw in Shore Leave, everyone in Shore Leave, James Doohan as Lieutenant Commander Scott, who we last saw in The Menagerie Part 1, Michael Barrier as Lieutenant DeSalle, Vanita Wolf as Yeoman Teresa Ross, who in the original script was supposed to be Janice Rand, but wasn't for obvious reasons.
You know, they wrote her in a lot of scripts just to take her out.
Well, these scripts were written before she was fired, so once they fired her, then they had to like just write in a new character.
I would have just done what all the other TV shows do. Just brought in a new chick and named him uh what was Yeoman what? Rand? Or what was it?
That
Yeoman.
was her name.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep the same name like Becky from Roseanne.
I don't get that reference.
You never seen Roseanne?
Not really.
Okay. So, Roseanne the show. Like after like 2 years, 1 year, Becky, the oldest daughter of it, they just completely replaced her with a new blonde chick like the same age and everything. Didn't say anything. And then like so many years later, that blonde chick quit and they replaced her back with the original one. Like it didn't say anything.
I
Uh,
think it's funny when shows do that, and then they make like a joke about it.
like
Like,
they made a slight joke about it because she came into her brother's room and he's like, "Where have you been?" And she was like, "I've always been here." He's like, "I haven't seen you in like insert amount of years."
yeah, I like it when shows do that. Like, when like a character says and they're like, "You look like a completely different person,"
Yeah.
or in, I think it was Boy Meets World. Like, I think there was like a whole season where they just forgot they had a younger sibling, and then in season three they replaced the younger sibling with a new actress, and she was like, "That was the longest game of hide and seek ever." Because Corey was like, "Hey, it's been a long time." The worst version of it was in Last Man Standing, when they canceled it and then they brought it back on Fox and they replaced Mandy with like a tall blonde girl, and like the whole time, what's his name, the dumb one, what's his name,
Um.
was it
Yeah.
was it
I've
Kyle?
yeah, Kyle. I've seen every episode, but
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Kyle.
The whole time Carl's like, I can't tell what's different about her, even though he's married to her. And I think he's in the episode, he's like, I know now. She's tall and blonde now.
Well, that show actually replaced three different actors in the
I'm
entire.
aware that
Yeah.
literally the first joke that I referenced was about that first actor they replaced.
Yeah. And then
That show was weird with it. So like in season one, you had like a character who had like a baby, and in season two they replaced the actress, and then they like aged up the baby to where he was like 5. He went from being
and
like younger than 1 to 5.
and his dad and her ex-boyfriend is a completely different actor too.
That I care less about. That guy showed up in one episode before that.
It was Nick Jonas
Yes, it was Nick
before.
Jonas.
Yeah.
But yeah, they should have just kept that show canceled. Or just like
No.
wrote off Mandy.
Yeah. I think COVID ruins things or ruined
I don't.
things.
COVID didn't have anything to do with that show being canceled.
No, I mean her leaving had a lot to do with it. Like her not coming back, sorry. Anyway.
Okay. Okay, let's get back into the episode.
Mhm.
We open with a shot of the Enterprise, then cut to the bridge. DeSalle, the navigator, reports nothing ahead. Kirk asks Spock for reading. Spock says that there has been no significant change in gravimetrics. Kirk tells Sulu to go to warp 3, then says, Colony Beta 6 wants their supplies. Let's get across this void in a hurry. Bowen standing next to him says, Void. Star Desert. The word conjures up pictures of dunes, oases, mirages. Kirk cuts him off. Sunlight, palm trees. We're 900 light years away from that kind of desert, Bones. And Spock has this really good line. The precise meaning of the word desert is a waterless, barren wasteland. I fail to understand your romantic nostalgia for such a place. I do too, Spock. I do too.
Yeah.
And McCoy, Vulcan racism radiating off of him, says, That doesn't surprise me, Mr. Spock. I can't imagine a mirage ever disturbing those mathematically perfect brainwaves of yours. Spock says, Thank you.
There we go again. Some more Spock being a jerk.
Spock isn't being a jerk. McCoy's being a jerk in this scene.
I mean, okay, let me
McCoy's being
rephrase.
blatantly racist.
And Spock is being very egotistical.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Spock has no ego.
yes, he does.
No, he
That
doesn't.
man, that man
And
has an
definitely not in
ego.
this scene.
That man has an ego. Out of all the Vulcans, that man has an ego.
No. Like, he's not showing any ego in this scene.
Tuvok has less of an ego than he does.
Yeah, Tuvok has no ego.
Honestly, I think my favorite Vulcan would be T'Pol.
I see that. The fans
Yeah.
might come after you, but I see that.
Eh, I mean, I see a lot of sketchy stuff on this
T'Pol.
show anyway.
Hey, I'm not arguing. T'Pol's a good character. I like T'Pol.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna get canceled someday, so be ready for it.
That's not a thing.
Getting
Getting
canceled?
canceled is not a thing. But no, canceling people is not a thing. It's just a buzzword conservatives like to use. Like, consequences for actions is a thing. But, like, no, getting canceled isn't a thing. Like, look at Dave Chappelle. He still makes. They, and they quote unquote cancel him all the time.
Yeah, but you don't hear about them as much.
You hear, like, a ton about him every time he drops a special about how, oh, this is transphobic. Oh, how he's getting canceled, even though, like, he makes a ton of money and everyone watches his stuff.
I think also we watch completely different stuff too, and because like I mean I don't even really know who he is anyway. So
He's a famous comedian in the face of many memes.
was he that really tall, skinny guy? That like his head shaved.
I need you to keep going. You have not given me enough.
Oh, what is? Hold on, I'll just Google him. That's not who I thought it was. I know who that is, but that's not who I thought it was. Hmm, interesting.
Okay, let's get back into it.
So en route to beta 6. Go ahead.
Okay. You threw me off. I had to actually see if we were en route to beta 6. That is
We've
where we're
been
going.
we've been
Okay.
en route.
Okay. Spock says thank you. Then that they're on schedule in Quadrant 904 and Beta 6 is 8 days away. But then he notices something on the navigation console. Kirk asks what it is, and Spock says that he's seeing a sizable space displacement reading, which is weird. Kirk asks Sal for verification. He's like, no. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, Spock's right. They see a planet on the view screen. Spock says it's inconceivable that it's not in any of their records. And Kirk's like, well, it's there. But we don't have time for this. Uhura, let someone know about it. Uhura says there's too much interference. The planet must be a natural radio source. So Kirk orders Sulu to get away from it. Sulu's about to hit a button, but then stands up and vanishes. Kirk runs to the helm, then he vanishes. Spock orders full stop, and that is our teaser.
Can I say that the planet is primarily made of iron and silica?
Yes, you can say that.
It has no bearing on any of this, but yeah. And the
are you are
navigators.
you are you watching that scene right now? Is that why you're saying this?
No, I'm not watching the scene. I took notes.
Good job.
The navigator's name is Desal,
DeSal.
Desal. Yep. And yeah.
I swear you're just watching captions right now.
I'm reading.
The captions.
No, no. I'm just north. Uh-oh. Don't die on me, baby. Couch. I know you're going to be deleting this, so I'm going to tell you a secret. How much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? The answer? It's a secret, so don't tell anybody. But the answer is 42. Should I tell you about the time that Buzz Aldridge got abducted by aliens? Yeah, he talks about all the time. And my captain for the captain bracket is Frasier. Bet you're not expecting that. Oh, I need to find a picture of him. Dun, da, 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 da. Da, da, da. But, my Sharona, my Sharona, my Sharona. I hope you're deleting all this.
I will.
Good.
Okay. Ugh. Sorry, I'm squeezing into a toddler bed.
Wheezing into a toddler bed.
Yes, I'm
What?
sitting in bed right now
Why?
so that Ryan and I would have the run of the house and not have to like stay in a room to avoid the podcast.
I gotcha.
Also, so I could watch TV and be distracted while I did this.
I gotcha.
All right.
Ship's log. Stardate 2124.5. First Officer Spock reporting for Captain James Kirk. We are orbiting the lone, unrecorded planet in the star desert. For 4 hours, we have made every possible instrument sweep. But Captain Kirk and Helmsman Sulu remain unaccounted for. I have placed the ship on red alert.
I don't think you said that Kirk and Sulu went missing.
I did. I said they stood up and vanished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said Sulu stood up and vanished, then Kirk ran to the helm and he vanished too.
Oh, I guess I just wasn't paying attention.
On the bridge, Scotty says they've searched the entire ship. They've got to be down on the planet. DeSalle says there's no signs of human life on the planet. Spock then asks her if she's checked all wave bands. She says, yep, no response. DeSalle requests to beam down and search the planet, and McCoy's like, yeah, what's taking so long? Then Spock says, the decision will be mine, Doctor. I have the responsibility for your safety. Spock then asks Yeager what he's learned about the planet. Yeager answers, no detectable soil or vegetation. Extremely hot. Toxic atmosphere. Swept by tornadic storm. Tornadic storm?
I was like,
Whatever.
what is a tornadic storm?
I think it just means tornadoes. Continuous
Tornadic?
continuous volcanic eruptions, deadly to any life forms such as we know it, without oxygen and life support systems. Spock then asks how long Kirk and Sulu could survive down there, and Yeager says, not very long. Then Uhura gets a message in old-timey writing on her screen that says, greetings and felicitations. Spock has Uhura send a message to the sender to identify themselves, and they get a response, hip hip hurrah, tally-ho.
Ah, I wish I could have said it.
Okay, say it.
Hurrah! Tally ho!
Spock asks the room for theories. McCoy says the one thing they definitely know is that there is life on the planet. Spock says to prepare the transporter, and Scotty asks to be assigned to the landing party. Spock says no, the ship can't spare the two of them, and orders DeSalle to lead the search party with Yeager and McCoy. Spock's learned his lesson since the Galileo 7, because now he actually cares about this crew's safety. He's like actually a good commander now. Cuts to the transporter room. Uhura overcom says that there were no more messages and she's locked onto the source. Spock tells DeSalle to contact the Enterprise immediately upon arrival and hands him a laser beacon in case he needs it, and Scotty beams them down. So the reason they're like wearing masks when they beam down, like you know how they're wearing like those masks over their face and that's it?
Uh-huh. They're oxygen
The reason
masks.
they're wearing those masks when they go down is because the producers thought that those big red suits from the Naked Time would look stupid.
I mean,
because you remember at the beginning of the Naked Time how like they had like those red hazmat suits where they like walked in and like everything was frozen at the beginning.
yeah.
Like the idea was to use those, but then they were like, no, those would look stupid.
I mean, they're not wrong. They would look stupid.
they're not wrong.
And I mean, the actual like face masks, those kind of catch on, and they use that throughout the whole Star Trek now. I mean, they do use the EV suits when they're doing spacewalks and stuff, but like when they're actually landing on a planet that it might not have breathable air, they use the masks.
On the planet, everything looks fine. Yeager scans with his tricorder and says atmosphere matches Earth's. He takes off his mask and takes a deep breath. Then the other two follow suit. None of them can reach the Enterprise on their communicators. DeSalle tries the beacon, but that doesn't work either. They look around until they find a big castle-looking building.
I'm done.
They walk into this big old-timey drawing room, and they walk down the stairs, and there they find Kirk and Sulu. McCoy scans them and says he's getting no readings. They're like wax figures. Door slams shut, and all of a sudden there's a guy playing the piano. He waves his hand, and Kirk and Sulu come back to life. Sulu asks where they are, and the guy says, welcome to an island of peace on my stormy little planet of Gothos. Kirk asks Bones to fill him in. He tells him that he disappeared right after Sulu and it's been 4 hours. The guy says, "You must excuse my whimsical way of fetching you here, but when I saw you passing by, I simply could not resist." Kirk introduces himself as the captain of the United Starship Enterprise. The guy says, "Ah, so you're the captain of these brave lads. My greetings and felicitations, Captain. So good of you and your officers to drop in. Absolutely smashing."
So, can I say
Yeah.
something? The wax figures, that they saw at first, uh, I don't know where, but one of them they've used, or they will use somewhere else in this show. The very first one, or no, yeah, one of the two. It looks like almost like a mummy, and it has its mouth like with teeth. You know what I'm talking about?
So actually, both of them they used. The first one, the one that you're talking about, was the salt vampire in the man trap, and the other
Yes.
one was actually one of the creatures in the cage, like the full
Yes.
version. Like at this point, they wouldn't have seen that scene, but like in the full version of the cage, one of them is the Birdman.
That's what I was thinking about that one, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I knew that one was the salt vampire. I didn't know exactly the salt vampire, but I was like, I know you've used that one.
I like the double take McCoy does at the salt vampire because like he is very familiar with the salt vampire.
Yeah.
Like it
We
like replaced his ex girlfriend or replaced him for a bit.
we've already done that episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, then McCoy should know that his ex-girlfriend is dead.
Yes.
Uh,
All right. Kirk asks the guy who he is, and he introduces himself as General Trelane. As General Trelane retired and goes back to playing the piano. DeSalle tells Kirk that they've lost contact and can't get back to the ship. Trelane says he's happy to have visitors from the planet that's his hobby, but he didn't think they were capable of space travel. Then Yeager says to Kirk, "Notice the period, Captain. 900 light years from Earth. It's what might be seen through a viewing scope if it were powerful enough." Trelane says, "Ah, yes, I've been looking on the doings of your lively little Earth." Kirk says, "Then you've been looking on the doings 900 years past." And Trelane's like, "Oh, dang, and I was really proud of the detail, too." Kirk calls him General, and Trelane says, "I'm retired. Just call me Squire." Kirk asks why he's imprisoned them, and Trelane responds, "Imprisoned? Nonsense. You're my guest. You see, I just finished my studies on your curious and fascinating society. You came by at the most propitious moment. I want to know all about your campaigns, your battles, your missions of conquest. Our missions are peaceful, not for conquest. When we do battle, it's only because we have no choice." Ah, but that's the official story, eh? Kirk asks Trelane to let them go back to their ship. Trelane says no. He wants to learn about them. And in his little speech, he has this line: "Do you know that you're one of the few predator species that preys even on itself?" Which is an interesting line if you think about it.
I mean, it's 100% true.
Yeah.
Uh,
Alright, DeSalle's hand is on his phaser, but Kirk tells him to set it to stun. Trelane hears his name and starts speaking in French, says he loves that Napoleon guy. Kirk introduces the rest of the crew. Trelane hears Yeager's name and starts speaking in German. Yeager says he's a scientist, not military. Trelane says, "We're all military deep down." DeSalle points his phaser at Trelane, and Trelane freezes him. He takes the phaser and unfreezes him. He sets it to kill and vaporizes the salt vampire and the Birdman. Kirk takes the phaser and asks if his crew are the next targets. Trelane says, "That's typical. You don't understand something, so you fear it." Kirk wants to know how he does all this, so Trelane explains, "We, meaning I and others, have, to state the matter briefly, perfected a system by which matter can be transferred to energy and back to matter again." Kirk says, "Like the transporter." Trelane responds, "Oh, a crude example of an infinitely more sophisticated process. You see, we not only transport matter from place to place, but we can alter its shape at will." "So you made this room by rearranging matter on the planet?" "Yes, now I'm tired of your questions. Let's have fun." Kirk says they're getting out of here, and Trelane says, "That's rude." He waves his hand, and Kirk is outside, surrounded by smoke, unable to breathe. Trelane waves his hand again, and Kirk's back in the drawing room. Trelane says, "That's the atmosphere of the planet when I'm not messing with it." Behave yourselves or you'll make me angry and you won't like me when I'm angry. And that is the end of Act 1.
Wow, that was a lot. I know that you know that I'm thinking something, but I'm not saying it until the very end.
Okay.
I know you've been waiting for me to say it. Uh,
Honestly, I was hoping you'd let me wait till the end.
well, I'm getting to it.
Okay, like, let's wait till the end. Alright.
Captain's log, stardate 2125.7. Science Officer Spock reporting for Captain Kirk. We've completed 14th orbit of this planet without establishing contact with our missing officers or the party sent to find them. Subspace communications remain blocked. However, by diverting impulse power to our sensors, we have made them operable, and we have detected one small area on the surface which seems relatively stable.
Spock is not the captain. Call it something else. First officer's log, science officer's log, or you could call it ship's log, like you did in Act 1.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that.
It's dumb when they have a captain's log and Spock says captain's log. Like, say something else.
This is why I don't like the original series. Not because of the graphics or because of the budget quality or anything like that, the quality or anything. It's the inconsistencies that I don't like.
Spock and Scotty are talking on the bridge. Aye, it's there, Mr. Spock, peaceful as Earth, but how do you explain it? I don't, Mr. Scott. It simply exists. Artificial, perhaps, or a freak of nature. The fact remains that life can't exist in that area. Aye, it could, but it couldn't move around much. Apply a fine-tuning on our sensors. Locate any life forms in that stable area. If we find any, it doesn't follow that it would be our people. Affirmative. But if the captain is down there and alive, that's where he'll have to be. We'll attempt to transport up any living beings our sensors detect. Shooting in the dark, Mr. Spock. Or stand by and do nothing, Mr. Scott. Cut to Trelane's drawing room. Trelane's showing off his battle flags, then goes back to playing his piano. Sulu asks, who is this guy? Bone says more like, what is he? And continues that his scans show that he doesn't exist at all, alive or dead. Eager points out that the fire doesn't give off any heat, and Kirk says, fire without heat, mistaking all this for present day, or Earth without taking into account the time differential. Whatever we're dealing with, he certainly isn't all knowledgeable. He makes mistakes. Trelane asks if they're discussing deep-laid plans. Kirk's about to get defensive when Trelane says, do not think I deplore your martial value of deception and stratagem. Quite the contrary. I have nothing but admiration for your whole species. Kirk's like, well, if that's true, then you have to respect that our ship needs us. Trelane's like, but why? I was getting bored until you showed up. You have to stay. For how long? Until this is over. Until what's over? Trelane says, stop asking questions and enjoy yourself. There may be no tomorrow. Kirk says that they've got 400 men and women up there looking for them. And Trelane's like, women? Cool. I'll bring some down. And Kirk grabs his arm before he has a chance to wave it and says no. Trelane says he can do anything he wants. But then they get a transporter signal. Trelane asks what that means. And Kirk says it means thanks to Spock, party's over.
I don't know what it is, but why is it that every alien species that they encounter is like, oh, women. Let's abduct the women. Let's do this.
Okay, name one other species that's done that.
The Cage.
Okay, name an episode that actually aired.
The Cage. Okay. How about this? The Menagerie, Part 1 and Part 2.
Okay, name an episode with Kirk.
I mean, Menagerie, Part 1, Part 2.
Pike was the captain then.
But Kirk was in that episode.
Kirk was in that episode, but under Kirk's command, name one episode where an alien was like, let's abduct the women. Name one episode.
I will give you, in the last, I don't even know how many episodes we've done now, 19, 20. The last so many episodes, no. But going into the future of this series, it will be like every other day. McCoy
I don't think so.
McCoy will get a woman. They'll abduct the women. It's generic.
I'm looking at the list of episodes we've done to see if they've ever abducted women. No, it hasn't happened.
It's never at first either. But
Okay. Alright, in the transporter room, Kirk immediately orders all hands to stations, then asks Spock how he found them. Spock says he didn't, he just beamed up all the life down there. Bones says, so he's not life as we know it. Kirk orders maximum warp, and Spock hits the red alert button.
red alert! Red alert!
They all file onto the bridge. Kirk tells Scotty to get the engines ready. McCoy says he doesn't know if he should be terrified or laughing. So her asks him what happened. McCoy tries to explain for a second, then just says, forget it. Then Trelane appears on the bridge. He says, I'm not mad at you, Captain. I'm mad at that Spock guy. Spock identifies himself, and Trelane points out he's not human, and Spock's like, yeah, my father is a Vulcan. Are its natives predatory? Not generally, but there have been exceptions. Trelane asks Kirk to punish him. Kirk's like, no, Spock did a good. But I don't like him. Kirk tells him to get off his ship. Trelane says they're all going with him. Kirk says they're not going anywhere. Trelane says, nonsense. I have an absolutely enchanting sojourn on Gothos planned for us. Or, no, planned for all of you. And you shan't spoil it for me. Anyway, the decor in my drawing room is much more appropriate and tasteful. Don't you agree? They're back in the drawing room when he finishes that sentence, and Sulu says no.
You know, he reminds me of someone else in Star Trek.
We'll get there, David. We'll get there. DeSalle gets up to attack him, but Trelane freezes him. When he unfreezes, Sulu grabs him and reminds him they don't even have their phasers. And Trelane says, yes, of course, I forget. I shouldn't front you too much, but I warn you, you can't provoke me again. Come, everyone, let's forget your bad manners. Let's be full of merry talk of sallies of... and sallies of wit. We have victuals to delight. God.
I'm glad I didn't have to read that.
The victuals to delight the palate of brave company, to delight the mind. Come, doctor, do partake. You have been quite derelict in your social duties, Captain. You haven't introduced me to the charming contingent of your crew. I forgot to mention, Uhura and Ross are there now.
Yeah, you forgot that.
Didn't actually forget that. I literally wrote in my notes, I forgot to mention.
Oh.
Kirk introduces them to Trelane. Trelane starts flirting and then tries to lunge for a kiss when Kirk pulls him back and introduces him to Spock. Trelane's like, you know you're just here because I like your captain. Affirmative. I don't like your tone. Are you challenging me? Then Spock has this great line.
I object to you. I object to intellect without discipline. I object to power without constructive purpose.
Then Trelane's like, you got bad manners. That's great. He then goes over to ask Ross to dance and tells her to play the piano. She says she doesn't know how to, and he waves his hand and she starts playing perfectly. Sulu asks Kirk how long they go on with this, and Kirk says until we can think our way out. Bones comes over and says that the food and alcohol have no taste. Spock says that's logical. McCoy says, oh yeah, it's fascinating. Is it fascinating too? Spock answers, fascinating is a word I use for the unexpected. In this case, I should think interesting would suffice.
The unexpected.
Trelane doesn't even get a fascinating.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's not unexpected.
Kirk asks, you don't find this unexpected? Spock says, that this food has no taste, the wine no flavor? No, it simply means that Trelane knows all the Earth forms, but none of the substance. Kirk deduces that if he makes a mistake, then he's not all-powerful and has a machine that his powers come from. Trelane, dancing with Ross, waves his hand, and a period dress appears on Ross. Kirk points out that Trelane has a big ego, never walking away from that mirror. Spock says it could be something else, and Kirk realizes that that's where the machine must be. Kirk then loudly insults Trelane and to get his attention. Then he pulls Ross away from him, saying to leave his crew alone, and slaps him across the face with Ross's glove. Trelane, being challenged to a duel by Kirk, pulls out a pair of pistols and tells Kirk that he never misses. And that is the end of Act 2.
No, I completely missed the fact that Kirk and Spock had talked about the mirror. So when what happens in Act 3 happens, I thought that they had planned that. Like, I didn't plan that. Like I thought he just got lucky on that shot.
No, that was the plan.
Captain's log, stardate 2126.1, delayed report. The whole bridge crew are the unwilling guests of the creature who calls himself Trelane. We are weaponless, powerless, and our only hope of escape with the Enterprise lies in playing his games. I've decided to make my move with the Field of Honor game, and everything depends on my one chance with the ancient dueling pistol.
We're in the drawing room. Kirk and Trelane are facing off with their pistols. Trelane says that since he was challenged, he gets the first shot. Kirk says, no, let's shoot at the same time. Trelane says, it's my game and my rules, but if you need to be persuaded, and points his gun at Spock. Kirk's like, okay, fine. Trelane takes his shot, and he hits the ceiling. Kirk takes his shot, and he hits the mirror, blowing up Trelane's machine, like, messes everything up in the room. Lights go off, the whole shenanigan. Trelane's pissed. DeSalle's communicator is working now. Trelane runs to his mirror and vanishes. Kirk orders the crew to beam up and cut to the Enterprise, flying away really fast. On the bridge, Kirk has Sulu set course for Beta 6, tells Scotty to get us to full power, and Sulu to prepare for emergency warp. Uhura asks if he wants her to make a report to Space Fleet. That's right, I said Space Fleet.
Man, it sounds like we're listening to a knockoff version of Star Trek.
They were doing so good too. Like the last few episodes has been consistently Starfleet, but here they go back to Space Fleet.
I'm telling you, well, earlier he said, what was it? United Earth something or United?
Well, United Spaceship, but that's consistently been a thing. Like, that was a thing in the cage up till now. That's what USS stands for. United Spaceship Enterprise.
The inconsistencies just drive me insane.
Okay, but that one's not an inconsistent. Like, United Spaceship is consistent. That's what USS stands for on all the ships.
Well, I was talking about the space fleet.
Okay, there. That I'll give you. Kirk says not till we're out of range. Spock says we have no clue what his range is. Ross, who's been doing her job this whole time in her dress, asks if she can go and change. Sulu's about to warp, but out of nowhere, there's a planet in their way, and it's Gothos. They take a few hard turns, but it keeps popping up. So Kirk says to orbit the planet and prep the transporter. Bones starts to argue, but Kirk's not hearing it, and he's beaming down there. So you know how the planet was like moving across the view screen, like this way and that way, like it was?
Yeah.
That reminded me of that spinning cube in the Corbomite maneuver, like how it was moving across the view screen, like every time they tried to go around it.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Cut to Trelane in a judge's robes and powdered wig, and Kirk standing in a courtroom. The prisoner may approach the bench. Trelane, any attempt at demonstrations will weigh against you with the court, and this time my instrumentality is unbreakable. I've had enough of your games. Oh, the absurdity of these inferior beings. And now, Captain James T. Kirk, you stand accused of the high crime of treason against a superior authority, conspiracy, and the attempt to foment insurrection. How do you plead? I thought we were talking about Kirk, not Trump. I haven't come to plead in your court, Trelane. I warn you, anything you might say has already been taken down in evidence against you. I've come for one purpose, to take back my ship. Irrelevant. We've made you angry with our will to survive, haven't we? Uncalled for. Then vent your anger on me alone. I was the one who led the others. I was the one who shot out your mirror machine. And did you really think that was my only medium of instrumentality at my command? I took that chance. I'm willing to pay the price for chancing wrong. Oh, then you do admit to the charge. Yes, anything. Just allow the Enterprise to continue its journey, you pompous immaterial. Those people have done you no harm. Inadmissible. We're living beings, not playthings for your amusement. Silence! The trial is over. You are guilty on all accounts. You are guilty, and according to your own laws, this court has no choice in fixing punishment. You will hang by the neck, Captain. You are dead, dead, dead. And that is the end of Act 3.
It's a lot of anger and hatred there.
Yeah.
Captain's log, stardate 2126.3. First Officer Spock reporting. Still no word from Captain Kirk on the surface below us. Waiting time is almost up. I will soon be forced to attempt departure as per instructions.
Kirk and Trelane are in the courtroom. Trelane says, "Until a moment ago, I didn't think it possible, but I did it. I was angry. I actually experienced genuine rage. This experiment has been successful." Trelane's going to put the noose around Kirk's neck, but Kirk says there's no sport in it, and Kirk talks him into the most dangerous game-style sword fight under the condition that Trelane releases the Enterprise. You got anything so far?
No, but I find their fight later on very interesting.
Okay. All right. Trelane transports Kirk outside, and Kirk tries to contact the ship but can't get through. Trelane pops up behind him and starts swinging his sword, so Kirk runs away. Trelane chases him. Kirk's still trying to call the ship with no luck. Kirk gets Trelane's sword from him and he takes a swing. Trelane vanishes and reappears. Kirk tosses the sword because he thinks he won. Trelane makes another sword appear and starts chasing Kirk again. Kirk makes it back to the castle. He tries to go in, but the door's locked. He tries to run away, but a cage wall appears. He tries to run the other way, but another one appears. Trelane has him cornered. Kirk gets the sword from him and snaps it in half and slaps him in the face.
I think right there, that part where he puts the cages around him is a very cheap shot.
That is cheap. That's cheating.
Yeah.
All right. Then two green blobs show up in the sky. These are Trelane's parents and start scolding him like a child. Turns out Trelane is a child.
Wait.
Oh.
Wait, green blobs?
Yeah.
I don't think they were green blobs on mine.
They were green blobs.
I think they're white blobs in my
No.
episode.
They were green in both versions.
Huh. Interesting.
Trelane vanishes and the parents apologize to Kirk. All right, David. Now I want you to try to guess who is the voice of Trelane's mother. I'll give you a hint. She's already been in 2 episodes that we've done.
I can't guess because it's been 2 weeks since I've seen the episode. So I can't
Just guess, like a female actress who's been in multiple episodes of Star Trek.
Oh, who's the one that was sleeping with Gene Roddenberry and voices everything?
Majel Barrett?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't her.
Well, that was my guess.
So it was actually Barbara Baldwin, who was Angela Martine in Balance of Terror and Shore Leave.
Ah. Oh,
I knew you
guessed.
were gonna guess Majel Barrett.
Yeah, I mean it's either her or a Hora. So
All right, we're back on the bridge.
Captain,
Mr. Spock, still thinking about Trelane, is that it?
for the record, Captain, how do we describe him? Pure mentality, force of intellect, embodied energy, super being? He must be classified, sir.
God of War, Mr. Spock.
Well, I hardly find that fitting.
Then a small boy. And a very naughty one at that.
It will make a strange entry in the library banks.
But then he was a very strange small boy. On the other hand, he was probably doing things comparable to the same mischievous pranks you played when you were a boy.
Mischievous pranks, Captain.
Yes, dipping little girls' curls in inkwells, stealing apples from the neighbors' trees, tying cans on... Forgive me, Mr. Spock. I should have known better.
anyway, it's like that boy is part of some group, or his parents are some group of all-knowing beings.
Hold on. We'll get to that. And that is the end of our episode. All right, now let's talk about the Q-shaped elephant in the room.
Ah. Yes, go ahead.
No, you were about to start. You go ahead.
All right, so I know what everybody thinks. Everybody's going to say, hey, that's Q. Which, and I mean, there's a lot of evidence that there is, including the book, Q Who, which gives a lot of evidence that's Q. But hear me out. I think it is a Q, but not Q from all the other Star Treks that we know.
I mean, that's what most fans think. They don't think that he's Q from Next Generation. They just think he's a Q.
I think he has been in a Star Trek besides this one. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Continue. I have an idea, but I want you to continue.
Voyager. Q and Q have a son,
Not where I thought you were going.
and I think this is the son. Because Q just calls him Junior, and we don't actually know his actual name.
His name is Q.
Well,
All of
I
their
mean-
names are Q.
well, yeah, I know that. But the only other, because that's the only other Q, like, there's one other set of Qs that we know have had a kid. But as far as we
No, there's
know,
not.
yeah, there is. There's one other set of Qs that have had a kid that we know of.
Oh, the Next Generation episode.
Yeah, but as
Yeah,
far
I got
as we
what you're
know,
saying now.
they've only had a daughter, or a female Q, or a no,
Okay.
I don't know. You know,
Okay, here's a few reasons why I don't think he's a Q. I like the theory, but here's why I don't think he's a Q. One, he has a machine and that's where his powers come from. Two, his name is Trelane and not Q. All of the Q's names are Q. They don't have names. They're just all Q. Three, he's a child, and as we learned in Star Trek Voyager, they haven't had like a child Q in like forever. And like the fact that that Q had his kid in Voyager was like a big deal. Also, you know that book you referenced isn't in that book, don't they say that Trelane is Q's son? I thought I read that somewhere. Which doesn't track because like we find out that like Q has his son in Voyager, and like that's like the first Q that's been born in forever.
but it does track. You're thinking linear.
Okay, I am thinking linearly.
Q is not linear.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Anyways, where was I? Oh, his name is Trelane. Like, I said that already, but like that doesn't work if his name's Trelane.
So,
all their names are Q.
My argument with that is, didn't one of the Qs that wanted them to kill him, or wanted Q to kill him, or wanted to die, or whatever? Didn't he he had a weird name or something that he'd call himself?
Okay, they called him Quinn, but that was just to differentiate the two Qs. Like when he showed up, he said, "I'm Q," and then they started calling him Quinn to differentiate him between him and other Q. But also, hey, let me get back to why I don't think he can be the junior Q from Voyager. Because, like, Trelane didn't know that he was looking 900 years in the past. He thought, like, the old, back in the Napoleon days was Earth's present. Like, Q, like, young Q was, like, on Voyager. Like, he knew they could space for travel. Trelane didn't, like, young Q knows too much to, like, grow into Trelane and not know all that stuff. They're clearly not the same character. Now, when you said that Trelane, what you were theorizing that Trelane was a character from Voyager, what I thought you were going to say is that Trelane grows up to be Quinn. That's where I thought you were going with that. Which would be interesting.
That could be true, too. But, so my thing with the name deal is, what's a name but just a nickname?
Okay,
and how many different
no,
names
hold on. No. If he just called himself Trelane, that'd be fine. But his parents called him Trelane. And that's where I find the problem with that. If he was a Q, his parents would have just called him Q.
Yeah. Unless it's just like a pet name or something. I don't know.
But yeah. But my main thing is like his powers came from a machine. That's my main thing why like he's not a Q.
So are you sure it came from a machine?
Yes.
Because the machine got destroyed, and all of a sudden he's chasing them with the planet. Like 5 seconds later,
Well,
he
but
didn't
like
repair.
he says he has another machine. He says this time my instrumentality is unbreakable. Like he
He,
has another machine.
he says. I mean,
Yes.
how many times in Star Trek has Q lied? Any
Okay.
Q lied about anything?
Okay, David. This is how story work. If there's a lie told, that lie's gonna be like revealed in the story. Otherwise, that's just the facts.
But I mean, if you look at it, it is revealed in the story.
No, it's not.
Because his parents are like all knowing too, and they don't have a machine.
Okay, they're not all knowing, and
Or all omnipotent or
they're not
whatever.
omnipotent because that's just another word for all knowing.
Whatever.
We don't know where the parents' machine is. We don't know where how far the parents' reach goes. The parents were punishing their child. For all we know, they had control over his machine.
I feel like, honestly, I think we're both grasping here
No,
for
I think
both
you're
sides.
grasping here, and
I
I'm
think
talking about the story as it's presented.
I think you're trying to grasp too.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I am working with the story as it is presented.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Anyway, say let's disagree. Let's agree to disagree.
All right, you gonna rank this one?
Out of on the Bailey scale, one Bailey being the best, 10 Baileys being the worst, I will give it a 3 Baileys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wasn't
Join. Oh,
Go ahead.
keep go. No, you keep going.
I'd say it wasn't terrible. It wasn't good. It was all
It
right.
was good.
It was all right.
It was good. It was fun. It was a fun time.
The inconsistencies are what got me.
That's not this episode's fault though. This episode on its own was good.
Mm.
All right. Join us next week for Arena. You can find me everywhere at Couch Talks Movies. David, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on TikTok at Commodore Moss.
You can find the show at Tomorrow Trek Pod on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and at patreon.com/tomorrowIsYesterday, where right now we're doing our March Madness Tournament of Captains to find out who the best captain is. So check that out on Saturdays at our Patreon. And don't forget to check out our stuff on the Couch Podcast Network store at couchtheaters.com. It's a long story. And until next time,
Live long and don't be a Q.